So one of the things I was that I noticed in your research, and one of the kind of the theories that you put forth is like it's not our fault that it's so hard to save money, and also it's coincidentally it's linked because I always equate saving money with losing weight too, because I think that they're very similar, and both of your theories kind of address that, which is basically like the caveman lived in a place of scarcity. You never knew where your next meal was coming from, and you're always in a preservation mode. And then now we're fighting against thousands of years of embedded psychology and your, amalgam brain, which I just made up because that's probably not the part of the brain, but it's the only thing I could think of.
Yep, exactly. And with the diet thing too, when you tell your body that I'm going to now starve you, everything works against you. Like your metabolism slows down, you start craving all this food. It's the same thing with money. Like we're not wired to save things for a lot of different reasons. Number one, most of our development we were cave people running around, and you couldn't save things if you wanted. You also had to share everything. If you were a hoarder of things, you'd eventually get kicked out of the tribe or murdered. So we have to override our natural impulse to consume and use. So like the whole concept of long-term investing requires us to have that prefrontal cortex override our natural emotion, especially in times like this, where we're seeing the market do all sorts of crazy things and we're having lots of emotions.
Let me ask you this question. Here's a struggle, a real challenge that I have as a financial advisor with clients. I get it often. You get the client, they come to you and they're like, hey, I want to accomplish 1, 2, 3. And we're like, beautiful. I'm going to lay out a plan for you to get to 1, 2, 3. Then all of a sudden there's a huge disconnect in the behavior and there's a big spend, which is justified, that completely derails 1, 2, and 3 that we laid out. What's going on in the amygdala?
Yeah, so many different possibilities, but quite often it'll be obviously it wasn't part of their plan, right? So this is something that came into their life and they're like, ooh, that shiny thing looks really good. And off you go after the shiny thing. There's a lot of different reasons why people might do that. A lot of mindsets that we have. And in our research, we call them money scripts. So these are the beliefs we have about money. We very often get them from our parents, grandparents, that kind of thing. It could be as easy as I grew up poor, and yes, I've been able to save some, but in the back of my mind, it's like I don't want to feel like I can't have something. Like that was such a traumatic thing for me growing up, and so I might be tempted when I see something flashy to say no, I can't do that, and then oh wait, that sounds like my father's voice, and I'm going to fight against my father's voice, and I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to go do it. Lots of different reasons why we sabotage ourselves. I mentioned money scripts, which are these scripts like we get them from our parents and we read them off. And we can get really attached to these things. Like they just feel like they're our reality. And of course, people coming from different families have different money scripts. And so quite often people are battling things out at the level of 3 generations ago, beliefs that were passed down to us. And then sort of, unfortunately, we get more and more rigid and more extreme the more we argue with our spouse. So for example, if my wife spends more than I do, so my anxiety will go up. And so I'll start saying things that I don't actually believe, in terms of the intensity, because I'm trying to balance her out and I don't want her to feel like she can spend. And then she feels like I'm oppressing her or I'm being paternal or whatever. So these things get really exaggerated. And the problem is that when they do studies on people who go into couples therapy, usually they've been fighting about something for 7 years before they actually get help. And so there's tons of resentment that gets built up and tons of angst.
Well, I've been married for 5, so I got 2 more years to go then, I guess.
Yep, until she's had it and she drags you in. Yeah. I'm surprised she made it to 5.
I've been married for 27.
Me too. You've been married 7 times, Keith?
27 years.
Oh, 27 times?
That is so romantic. Every year it's like a new marriage for you with her. That's beautiful.
Wait a minute, I can't show this one because it's in private chat.
Oh, did it go in the private chat box? That's weird.
Let's see if I can, nope. This is what it says.
I'm seeing.
Is Dr. Brad a model or something? Wow.
Oh my gosh, you guys. You guys.
Wow. Dr. Brad, let me ask you this. What on TikTok, what is one of the most comments you get of who you look like?
I don't know. I screen out all the ones that don't say Brad Pitt, so I can't remember.
Well, You kind of look like him. You kind of look like him, I gotta say.
Oh my goodness.
One other comment here. Let's see. Up. There's your fan.
Yeah, this is my girl, Jerry.
You speak of psychology of wealth. I've heard of that. I mean, what is psychology of wealth?